This is Abdul Saad, clinical psychologist at Vital Mind Psychology here in Sydney, Australia. And in this video today, I am going to be discussing the topic of the nice guy and porn, or why nice guys get addicted to porn. So with this video, I'm going to be zooming in on a particular problem which in my clinical practice I have found nice guys are overrepresented in. So nice guys present with this problem in a disproportionate way compared to other men, and that is the problem of pornography addiction, compulsive sexual acting out, and of course this is linked with issues to do with excessive masturbation and the use of pornography. So I want to focus on this today to shed some light on this problem and to begin to give understanding and hope about the issue and ways that we can begin to rectify it. So let's begin with the topic. Now, for nice guys and their sexuality, the sexual instincts, the sexual nature of the nice guy typically gets sequestered or compartmentalized into what's known as the shadow. And the shadow in psychology can be understood as that dark side of us that is hidden away from our conscious awareness, those aspects of the psyche that are compartmentalized, because if they were to rise into conscious awareness, they would threaten the integrity of how we view ourselves and how we relate to other people. So these are the shadow houses all that which is confronting and all that which is contradictory to how we essentially view ourselves, to the self, the persona, or the mask that we wear in the world. Now, pornography provides a way for sexuality to become compartmentalized and hidden, because pornography obviously and its consumption being intimately linked to masturbation in men, it's acted out in secret, it's consumed in secret, and this drives further the compartmentalization of the sexual instinct into the shadow aspect. Now, as social factors drive more men, and forgive my language, as social factors drive more men to become increasingly insipid, nice and agreeable, and more women to become more assertive and dominant, nice guys become increasingly intimidated by women. The nice guy becomes obsessed with the outcome of his interactions with women. And he often will not engage in an interaction where there is a romantic interest if he believes that the likelihood of rejection is high, which is almost always the case in the mind of the nice guy. So he's anxious about rejection, and this stops him from taking the leap and putting himself out there. Now, this causes the nice guy to begin to develop a view of women as unapproachable, as mysterious creatures that are somehow too complex and too out of reach. His sexual instincts begin to increasingly be seen as incompatible with his niceness, because for the nice guy to want to be sexual somehow is linked with aggression and domination, and it's far too confronting. So nice guys typically will have their sexual instincts go underground, go into their shadow. So the nice guy's sexual instincts find fulfillment in the secretive and fantasy world of pornography. And often the nice guy's taste in porn will escalate into sort of darker fetishes and domains, often areas of domination, sadomasochism, etc., etc. Now, the compulsive viewing of the pornography and masturbation takes the edge off the nice guy's sexual desires, further increasing his agreeableness and niceness as he continues to deplete his sexual energetic reserves, contributing to his enfeeblement in work, love, and play. So basically what I'm trying to say there is that through the compulsive sexual acting out using pornography and masturbation, nice guys are depleting themselves of sexual energy, of their edge, which sexual energy gives them. And therefore this causes them to become even more placid, even more passive, even more agreeable, more lackluster, procrastinate even more. So the nice guy becomes increasingly resentful that the women he is sexually attracted to continue to friend zone him. His ever-reducing masculine core, contributed to by the constant depletion of his sexual energies by pornography, causes him to feel most intense attraction to increasingly dominant women, because increasingly more dominant women than him are his polar opposite. There is the greatest polarity with more dominant women, and therefore the greatest sexual chemistry. But of course, these dominant women themselves require a hyper-masculine dominant male for any sexual chemistry. Hence their strong tendency to very often prefer a pseudo-alpha male over a nice guy, further increasing the nice guy's resentment, frustration, and confusion, which this in itself triggers more stress, which then leads him to engage in increasing amounts of compulsive acting out using pornography. So what I've found clinically is that nice guys, and by no means are all nice guys addicted to pornography, but I'm saying it's overrepresented in this group of men, but nice guys who become addicted to pornography tend to have, in my clinical experience, very high rates of social anxiety or social phobia. That is, these are men who are very sensitive to how others perceive them. They're very sensitive. They have what's technically called a heightened fear of negative evaluation. Basically, they're very attuned or alert to their perceptions of how other people are judging them in social interactions. And I've also observed that when these sorts of men reduce their consumption of pornography, that very often we observe a marked reduction in social anxiety, whether or not we're actually targeting the social anxiety with specific therapeutic strategies and techniques. We're now also becoming increasingly aware that pornography can rewire the male brain and contribute to a whole host of sexual dysfunctions that nice guys are more prone to, such as erectile dysfunction and what's called porn-induced erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, which further damages the nice guy, especially if he is in a relationship. And it can set up a vicious cycle for nice guys of sexual unfulfillment and continued compulsive sexual acting out, even if they have a partner. Now, in shedding light on this problem, it's always very important to understand that there is hope. And recovery from pornography addiction and from sexual compulsive acting out is possible, yet it's no walk in the park. And some have called sexual addiction, the athlete's foot of the mind. If anyone knows anything about athlete's foot, it's a stubborn fungal infection that's pretty hard to get rid of and keeps recurring. But definitely there is hope. And working on a pornography problem is essential for any nice guy out there who wants to further develop his masculine core. I would say that if this is an issue for a nice guy, it is a necessary but not sufficient condition for him to work toward evolving into a grounded, authentic man. So it's an absolutely essential step, but in of itself it is not going to be enough. But in beginning to work on the pornography addiction or compulsive pornography habit, it definitely opens up new pathways for the nice guy. Now, often one of the most powerful antidotes to this compulsive acting out and using pornography for a nice guy is to break the spell of secrecy and discuss the problem with another trustworthy, non-judgmental person. And I've found if it's another man, that is incredibly therapeutically helpful. It doesn't have to be a therapist, but often it is a therapist, given that the therapeutic relationship, there's guarantees of confidentiality, the therapist is an independent third party, and it's much easier to disclose these things to a therapist perhaps than to a friend or family member. So that pretty much summarizes what I wanted to say about the nice guy and porn addiction. I wanted to give a very brief insight into the problem, into why it develops psychologically, and how it begins, how it's maintained for the nice guy, and how this sets up vicious cycles of self-reinforcement and self-fulfilling prophecies for the nice guy when it comes to their sexuality, their romantic relationships, and their view of women. And definitely it's one of the core things that is important for nice guys to work on in therapy, in counseling, if they identify that pornography use has become problematic, it started to interfere with your life, it's something that you use as a substitute to human-to-human intimacy and connection and contact. And this also feeds into what I talked about in the previous videos regarding the nice guy very often taking the easy way out. So as we continue to build the series, and I'm going along with some of these ideas to make the videos, we'll continue to evolve the discussion. In my next video, what I want to touch on is the downward spiral for the nice guy when he attempts to become a pseudo-alpha male. And in that video, I want to really discuss why this is occurring and the dynamics that I'm seeing with more nice guys waking up to the nice guy paradigm, but not being equipped with the tools and with the paradigm to make the shift toward on authentic grounded man, and instead actually making a backward move more toward a pseudo-alpha male in a misguided attempt to somehow increase their sexual value in the marketplace. But often this does not end well and does not provide much fulfillment for the nice guy, as it takes him further away from becoming the authentic grounded man. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, tap onto that bell icon so you know whenever I upload a new video, and I will catch you next week, God willing. Take care. Bye-bye.